If we listen to each other's podcasts, we'll find we're never too far podcast. And maybe love is the reason why, for the first time, we're going to see podcast to podcast.
Are you kidding?
I don't know, like, the cadence to the song, so I just had to read the lyrics.
I don't know what you're doing right now.
That's Eye to Eye, the song at the end of Goofy Movie. Like, that's the song that Michael Jackson stand-in plays.
I understand now.
Yeah. Sorry if that was misleading.
What in the world?
Don't even...
Just the fact that you read through it like that. But then
I
you
read
put
it like
podcast
poetry.
in words, like, in place of words that I feel like are not just, like, nouns that you could, like, interchange. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I kind of take a loose improvisational feel to what I replace with podcast.
Okay, if you say so.
Welcome back to the... Give me a minute on that one. Welcome back to the Disney Desk. Carter again.
And here's Sydney.
And this episode, we're going to be doing something a little new, a little unique. So what started as a conversation about Goofy and Pluto, sort of the differences between the two dogs in this world, soon turned into our joint appreciation of the Goofy movies.
Right.
I feel like both the Goofy movie and the Extremely Goofy movie are the two most underrated Disney films of all time.
I think so, yes.
And we just want to talk about them.
Right.
We're just going to use our platform and our forum to talk about why we love them so much.
Those movies are just, I can't even begin to describe. They're classics. They're just like, they deserve so much more recognition and appreciation. And I mean, those movies were made for millennials. Like, if I think there was anything that makes me, like, proud almost to, like, be a millennial, it's those movies.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that has our name exactly on it in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah. The thing I always talk about, what I love about it, is the fact that it is set in the modern world. It's, like, more than any other Disney movie, it's set in the present, in the moment. Like, you know, they have TVs, they have,
radio,
like, headsets.
Cars, yeah.
They have camcorders, they have...
Oh, right.
The biggest thing for me is the jacuzzi. The fact that there's Pete and Goofy have a dramatic scene just chilling in a hot tub is just priceless to me. And it never feels too... Even the Pauly Shore doesn't feel... Well, he feels a little dated. But for the most part, like, all these references and modern stuff never makes it feel dated. Like, it still feels relatively timeless.
Yeah.
Other than Pauly Shore doing his dude bro shtick.
Well.
But that was inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just love... It has an energy and a tempo and a flavor that I can't think of another pair of Disney films that quite have it.
No. Yeah.
Like, they're simultaneously, like... They simultaneously have this really sincere, earnest heart, but they're also, like, really irreverent and offbeat and off the wall.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's, like... So Mickey is kind of, like, in character lockdown, because he's the mascot. Yeah. He has to be sort of really stagnant and unpersonable, lest they scare off anyone.
I think so.
I mean, that's kind of been broken lately with those really fun, Mickey Mouse
those
cartoon.
Shorts, on Disney Channel.
I really like those, but... And, you know, Donald is kind of paired up with the DuckTales stuff. Like, that's his little space.
Yeah.
So Goofy gets, his own little world. Like, all three of them have their own little world, and I think Goofy's is the most unique and fun.
I personally, I'm just biased. I think Goofy's is the best.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I would say so. Like, so it's also just interesting how different the two movies are. So, for those not familiar, the original Goofy movie is sort of a coming-of-age movie where Goofy becomes worried that his son is growing apart. He's a single dad. His son is kind of growing apart and acting out, while all Max wants to do is mac on the pretty other dog. Yeah, Maxine.
On the pretty other dog.
So he wants to go to this concert, but Goofy, on the other hand, wants to take him on a road trip. And, it's just...
Father-son road trip.
And it just feels this really classic, like, family road trip thing. Like, it fills all the tropes of, like... parents not getting along, hijinks, near escapes, being out of touch, the car rolling down something and nearly getting destroyed.
Yeah.
And, and then, like, these really quiet moments where they really come to appreciate each other.
Right.
Like, honestly, I think it has one or two of the best, most, like, poignant moments in any Disney film. Yeah. Like, remember the canned soup moment where he's playing around with the alphabet soup and it's like, you used to write things. And he's like, I love you? And it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Or... like, for me, the part that always gets me that, like, that almost makes me, like, cry every time I see it is when like Goofy's feelings are hurt, like when you have a character like Goofy, as far
who's
as like
exclusively
energy,
comedy,
right, yeah, for him to like have his feelings hurt and for him to like be somber, that is like so hurtful. I don't know, like I feel offended for him.
Like, you know, the moment where that really hits for me, when he discovers that Max changed the directions on the map.
Yeah.
And he gets out of the car, slams the door, and just slams his hands onto a guard railing. It's like, I've never seen Goofy, like, upset before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, actually hurt. And it stings. You're absolutely right.
Oh, God.
Or when they have that moment where Pete tells him, like, hey, I heard your son changed the map. And it's like, your son has no discipline, not like my kid. And Goofy gets, like, storms out of the hot tub and says something like, you know, my son loves me. Right. And Pete goes, my son respects me. And he's just like, yeah.
That's so
like,
deep.
Yeah, I'm like, dang. Goofy
they
just
went all
got
the way
in a
there.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That is funny.
Also, I just love Pete as a character. I just love him and his, like, kind of crappy son.
I can't stand Pete.
I want to hear your justification for this.
Angry. He's the worst kind of man, and I know so many men exactly like him. I feel like he's the most lifelike of all of these characters. I think I know people exactly like Pete, and he's the worst kind of man to come in contact with. And I hate him. I just can't stand him. I know him personally.
That's intense.
He is. Like, there's always just, like, these big, like physically, like, big men that talk over your head and, like, think that they're better than you. And treat you like you're, like, beneath them, but, like, or think that, you know, they're the boss of something, and maybe they are, and maybe they do run something that is kind of successful, but, like, just this arrogance and just this blatant, like, rudeness, like... And he's also just disgusting. Like,
yeah, he is gross.
Yeah, he's just gross. And I know people that are exactly like him, and I just can't stand him.
Yeah, no, I've never thought of it that way, but that is so that's so legit. He's right a real there.
I think Pete is just the most like a real ass person. Like, you know what I mean? Well, but in the ugliest way.
Just in general, the first Goofy movie is the most real of any Disney film.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's with anthropomorphic dogs.
Right.
Where it's like, you know, there's no magic, there's no, like... There's slapstick, but other than, like, the car falling down, like a waterfall, there's not that much that breaks our traditional laws of physics.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just a plain old story about a guy and his kid and wanting to go see a Michael Jackson concert.
Pretty much, yeah.
Did Michael Jackson actually voice the character?
Oh, no. They can't afford Michael Jackson. It's like that. I forget. Somebody did. Well, actually, I forget who that character was based off of. It's not Michael Jackson. It's I know who it is.
I always extrapolate that
based... Brown. That was supposed to be Bobby Brown. Yeah, but they couldn't... And Bobby Brown was originally supposed to voice it, I actually think. Like, I think Bobby Brown was originally involved in this. And then, for whatever reason... There was a reason that they changed it, but they still based this around, like, New Edition Bobby Brown. I'm trying to think. Let me look that up really fast.
Yeah, Bobby Brown is... I only know him through Bobby Christina, so I've actually never heard his voice. So I guess, like, in my head, I just extrapolated Michael Jackson because it was a guy doing all these crazy dance moves with, like, a slightly higher than typical voice.
No, that was... I mean, like, other than the voice... Like, that was pretty much Bobby Brown's career. Because he was in a boy band called New Edition, and then like in their like early 20s he broke off and did his own career. You know that song Prerogative? That's my prerogative.
Yeah.
This stuff. That's Bobby Brown.
I got you now.
Yeah.
I will say that is one area where the film suspends disbelief. The fact that these two people sneak into like the most important concert on the planet, get on stage and aren't immediately tased or shot. Like the fact that they're allowed to just do all these dance moves and not immediately thrown in a cell somewhere. But I also like wholesome. I think that's the key adjective.
Like just very honest. Powerline was his name.
Powerline. I love it.
I've seen so many cosplays of that, though.
Really?
Yeah, of people, like, dressing up. Like, and they are really good costumes.
That's actually the perfect cosplay, because it finds that perfect balance between being, like, a Disney... You know, being big because it's a Disney property, but also being obscure enough that people applaud you for being unique. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not going to be another Elsa or Spider-Man.
Right. Oh, now that I'm looking at him, like, that is Bobby Brown. Like, the haircut and everything.
Hold on, pull up a picture of Bobby.
Like, let me find a picture of Bobby Brown.
Yeah, the film just reminds me of, like, Peanuts, or, which is an animated film I always bring up, or, oh my god.
Even, like, the haircut and everything.
I see it now.
It's Bobby Brown, yeah. Uh-huh.
Or Captain Underpants, where it's like, oh, you know, it's just a wholesome, genuine film that loves its characters and wants to tell a good story.
Right, pretty much. Okay, so let's move on to the X Games.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Basically, what if college movie, but also X Games?
Right. This, and I think I think this time, this was like 2000.
Yeah, this was like the turn of the century.
BMX and like stuff like that was really popular for the time.
Oh yeah. Like, that was like the golden age of Tony Hawk. The rise of Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was like when skate era was
and Bam
like
Margera's being like a pop culture phenomenon.
Right. So this was like super relevant for them to do, but
yeah. Also, I think it helped that they bought ESPN by then, right?
LOL. Yeah. That's convenient. But that's a really cool element, like for that to be the center of like conflict around this, like competing in this
like on paper it shouldn't work. Like on paper it's like, oh, this is so silly. Goofy going to college and being there with his son, that's so contrived. But like, wait, can we talk about also this product placement?
He shows up to college in like in an afro and in a you know, John Travolta like suit.
Honestly,
and like this is what he thinks college
I love. Honestly,
it's amazing.
That initial reveal of him in the class and then going, "Hi, son," and Max just screaming, might be one of my favorite reaction shots in any Disney film. Yeah, just because of how genuinely horrified.
Exactly. I actually like this movie for me as a child was actually like gave me the framework for what I thought college would be like, honestly. Really? Like, and just like in every way. Like I thought all classes would be these like big like lecture halls that are like, and then but also these let's not talk about the poetry club and and the beatnik kids and everything and these
the 50s beatniks.
Yeah, exactly. Who, and then the fraternity brothers, your rich white Republican.
Yeah, your college Republicans. It really does. Like we were saying before this, it really does capture every single trope of the college film genre.
Yes.
You have your 50s beatniks. Yes. You have your she's all that, like, meek girl who, like, when she's already conventionally attractive, but then when she takes off the glasses, society deems she's hot.
And that's all she needs to do.
You have, like, the 80s, like, disco stuff. You have the classic 70s and 80s, like, slobs versus snobs thing.
Pretty much.
Where, you know, Max and his scrappy group of friends are going up against, like, the preppy, rich white wasps. Which, it's funny that that gets centered around the X Games, which is, like, traditionally, like, sort of a dude bro, like, slobs sport. I do appreciate that. I think that's a funny angle to take it. Yeah, no, it is a film that has no reason to work. Literally has no justification to be this good. But it's just funny as hell.
Can we talk about how Goofy, like, before he even gets to college, has to go to an unemployment office? Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like this was a movie that they wrote to be, like, a live action, not associated with Disney at all. Like, this is just a movie that this is a script that we came up with, this dad.
This seems like a Disney Channel movie.
They tell him that he's got to go back to college. Yeah, and then they were like, what if we made this about Goofy?
I'm like, we need something to do with this character.
Right.
Like, we haven't really done anything with him in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's too real. Like, I think this is the most lifelike... like
it's simultaneously adaptation. The most lifelike and impossible just because of like the X Games and the contrivances, but also honestly I like the X Games as an additional setup just because what is Goofy known for? Slapstick. He's known for being he's known for being the Disney character who you can throw down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, and he'll be okay. And as long as he does that like echoing laugh, like that classic Goofy,
we know he's probably fine. Like Donald's the freak out comedy and Goofy's the like pie to the face, rake to the face.
Exactly, rake to the face.
And
exactly.
you've set him up in a scenario where he's going to have to be riding bikes and skateboards through precarious loops and loop-de-doops. And
yes, it's all perfect.
It did make me obsessed with the X Games. See,
really?
You thought that's what college would be like. This is how I thought the X Games was going to be. Like, elaborate mazes and puzzles and stuff. When in reality, it's just a guy doing like 3 flips and then getting graded.
Right,
like figure skating.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then we briefly talked about this movie's relationship with nacho cheese.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's its own element in and of itself.
It's like
the portrayal of nacho cheese and just like filling up all of the spaces in between all of these elements is literally nacho cheese.
They find a way to work nacho cheese and everything because again, it was the late '90s, bro.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
It's much like Spirited Away in its relationship with food. It's simultaneously delicious looking, but also disgusting
and kind of gross. Yeah, like it looks good and like this steaming plate of nachos, but then like watching them eat it is like, oh, this is repulsive.
Yeah, no, that's exactly like you know how Spirited Away has like the ghost with the stomach mouth. And it's like gets really fat, like that.
Yeah.
But with nachos.
But with
because I don't know if nachos are a culinary thing in China or Japan.
Yeah. And then
I also love the main bad guy. Like he's such a
frat bad guy.
Yeah, the frat bad guy. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever seen any of the memes where it's just a still frame where they catch his face in a really weird like position? There's a whole subculture of that.
Get out.
He just gets these really weird faces. And I love it.
No, I haven't seen that. He's another one, like just like Pete, where like that's a real guy. Like I feel like you meet like versions of that guy all over the place.
And you know what it is that helps that? He looks way more like a human than any of the other dogs.
He does, yeah. Like, he just looks like a white man. Like he just...
his skin, like he has a like really Caucasian skin tone.
Yeah, I mean, other than they put gloves on him, but like everybody's got gloves on.
He has a very like human face
structured
shape.
Like he just looks like a man. Yeah,
with,
like the
his ears are very like subdued.
And he's got like a crew cut. Like he's got just like a sophisticated haircut. Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't have ears. He doesn't have like dog
his ears are like subdued.
Like, no, it doesn't have a snout really. I mean, like his like.
He doesn't. He just has a little like bloop nose.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, and then I also love the relationship between Max's sort of pudgier friend and
what was his name? Bobby?
Man. Bobby, I think.
Yeah.
And then I call the other one just Pauly Shore because that's who voiced.
I gotta look up his name.
Yeah, because him and the one beatnik female, and they scare the snobs out with the snapping.
That chick was like, I wanted to be just like her so bad. Honestly, like I did, like just like her little part in that. I just thought she was the
And then at the end of the movie, he's wearing
thing.
all black with a tiny hat. Like, it's just silly. It's just dumb and weird stuff like that where it's like, I'm just having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I know we get on Disney, like, about, like, oh, it's all about the Disney magic. It has to be spectacular. It has to be perfect. It's like, you know, sometimes we can just have fun. Sometimes we can just, like, lay back, just have a ridiculous, silly movie with a goofy pun name and just enjoy ourselves.
Pauly Shore, his character is named Bobby. Pete Jr. is the name of Pete's son.
Oh,
clearly.
Right.
He's Pete Jr.
Yeah, I think it's Pete Jr. who's his friend, isn't it? Or
right,
is it another guy?
Both of them. No, so like Pete Jr. is Pete's son, but like they're both his
And he's
friend.
the one who hangs out with them, right?
Right, and then his name is Bobby Zimmerowski. I love his character. Like I just feel so affectionately towards this bro dude.
And of all the Disney sequels, this is the one where
and I love it.
This is the one where they didn't really skimp out on the voice acting. Like the voice acting in this one is great. Like the performances, especially of that guy, it's like, oh no, they gave an effort for this.
Yeah.
Like they cared about how this turned out.
Oh, they put an earring on him too. I just realized he's wearing like these like.
They
almost dressed him like Shaggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just Pauly Shore wanted to play a Shaggy-esque character.
Yeah.
And also himself.
Oh my god, that's funny. Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know, like, honestly, this was just us we wanted to do an extra bit. And
we started, briefly talking about this movie, and we decided we have a lot to say about it. So
we just thought it might be a fun little thing.
To make it its own episode.
And, look, I feel like a lot of people our age haven't seen this movie, and if you haven't, just look for it somewhere and just enjoy.
You need to see this movie.
Seriously, you won't be disappointed.
No,
both of them are...
it's great. They're both amazing.
Weird, endearing little films.
Yes, perfect.
That capture a really unique part of Disney culture.
Definitely. And capture just a snapshot of who our generation is as people.
Yeah. And I guess you could say that's a pretty goofy thing to talk about on a podcast. Oh, I blew that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're done here.
All right.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Disney Desk. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and thumbs up this video. For more content, be sure to check out our Tumblr and look for us on Facebook. Have a magical day.